So a couple years ago, I was thinking about those 8 babies and all the money and time and effort we spent into them. And I thought, if we had had their mothers when they were pregnant, they would never have been abandoned. And they would be totally healthy right now. Like, yes, especially the First Lady. She's amazing.
Oh, Gabriela Bukele?
Yes.
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
Yeah, she's into child development, and she's
Yeah.
into mother-daughter relationships. So when I told them about it, I had verbal approval within a day. And
There's no more big killings, there's no more kidnappings, and there's no more, extortion going on anymore in El Salvador. But there are still lives being lost. But these lives are not going to be saved by more military or by police. These lives are only going to be saved by you and me. And because it's important and it's the right thing to do. So in this video, I'm going to introduce you to superstar Salvadoreño gringo that has come down here to save Salvadoreño lives, and he needs your help. So I'd like you all to meet one of my most inspirational Salvadoreños, and that is Bob McDonald. And he is the founder of Casa de Vida and Mi Casa Kids. And I wanted you to hear it straight from his mouth about his journey and how this all came about in his history with El Salvador.
Actually, we have to go to the 70s.
Okay.
I really had a vision from God to find kids that need the help the most and give them food, clothing, and shelter in a loving home environment, to give them an education and occupational training so they can care for themselves one day, and to do it all in God's name. So I came here in '82.
Yeah.
Okay.
To meet your in-laws.
To meet my in-laws. Driving back from the airport, we crossed that little river by the airport, and I just heard God say, "This is where I want you to start." And then we moved here in 1984. It was here for 6 months to start the orphanage, and we waited 5 years to get permission to start. But in 1989, we got permission. We started. We opened a home in San Miguel.
And that's Mi Casa Kids.
That's Mi Casa Kids.
Okay. Wow.
So we raised those 28 kids. There's a doctor. There's 2 nurses. Several of them have their own businesses. And none of them have abandoned their own children. And they all were abandoned during the war, orphaned or abandoned during the war. So in 2020, during the pandemic, there was a lot of babies in the government orphanage just lying there, dying neurologically from attention. So we started, the new government gave us acogimiento de emergencia, that's child emergency care protection. And we received 8 babies in 2020, and they were all neurologically damaged from not being cared for, just lying in cribs. And so we started working with volunteer psychiatrists from the United States, from Harvard, from Boston Children's Hospital, from some of the best specialists in the United States, trying to recuperate what they lost. And then,
because how old were these babies? Like when they were saying they're behind, like how
they were
behind?
18 months old when we got them. They didn't know their names. They didn't know how to make eye contact. They didn't know how to hug. They didn't know how to do anything.
Wow.
None of them had solid food. It was like they were like what the psychiatrist told us. They're blank slates. And they also explained to me that the structure in a baby's brain that forms during the first 90 days, where a baby connects with his mama, with the grandma, with the grandpa, with the sisters, with
that attachment period.
That attachment period, when a baby does not have someone to attach to, their whole structure, their brain forms differently, and it's catch up for the rest of their lives, catch up. We're talking special needs, attention deficit, attachment disorders, all kinds of things happen if babies are traumatized inside their mother's womb when they're growing. And those first 90 days, that first year is critical. You lose 18 months, oh my gosh, it's...
Yeah.
Well, I still follow most of the babies, and they still have attention deficit problems, and they still have attachment disorders. But we recuperated a lot of what they lost. So,
and they're like what, like 6
years old, 5 years old.
About 5 years old.
Yeah.
So like therapy helped, but hello, they were never going to be 100% because they lost that beginning period.
They lost that beginning period. Their
Wow.
foundations, their structure, the basic structure is bad. It's damaged. So a couple years ago, I was thinking about those 8 babies and all the money and time and effort we spent into them. And I thought, if we had had their mothers when they were pregnant, they would never have been abandoned. And they would be totally healthy right now. It's like, okay, God, is this a dream, or is it you that gave me this dream, or what is this? And so I'm going to ask for permission. And I've tried to get permission before for different things, and it's so hard. But this government's really good. Within days, I had.
So the last government, every time you tried to get permission for anything, it was like pulling teeth.
Oh, no. Oh, that's too hard to do. That's never going to happen. That kind of attitude. No, this government is like, yes, especially the First Lady. She's amazing.
Oh, Gabriela Bukele?
Yes.
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
Yeah, she's into child development, and she's into mother-daughter relationships. So when I told them about it, I had verbal approval within a day, and then the paperwork came after that. So I was like, okay, now we just need a place. And so,
wow, I don't know what government in the world where you can get like approval within a
day.
day.
Yeah, you can
or
do
even
that.
a week.
Yeah, you can do that. That's what the legal counsel for the First Lady said. Yeah, you can do that. And so,
wow, that is like the opposite of the bureaucracy of El Salvador's past.
Yes,
that's
it. In the past, it was that's too hard to do. It's going to take a lot of work and permisos and gosh, and laws.
Bureaucracy. El Salvador is,
El Salvador is open for business, and
it is open for business now. It used to be pure bureaucracy, though.
Right.
Yeah.
And not that they're making, rash decisions. I've been here for 30 years when I asked for permission to do this. So it's not like I was an unknown quantity when I asked. So anyways, then I said, okay, all right, so that's step one, God. Now I need a house. And then God gave us 2 houses here on this property.
So that's not like I'll take a step, you give me a step. It's like you gave a step and here's 2 steps.
There's 2. So we got 2 houses on this property in Cloniutila. And so far we've taken in 12 girls. 6 of them we've already helped. These are 12 pregnant teen underage girls who are suffering from severe depression and think their lives are over. In fact, they're actually... In fact, before we opened, unfortunately, one of the girls that was going to come into the program committed suicide. It's common down here. Babies are getting thrown into gutters because mothers have no place to turn. They have no support, and their depression levels are off the charts. We use the Beck depression scale for measuring here, and they come in near the top for depression. Within just a couple months, they're thinking about the future again. They want their babies. They don't want to get rid of their babies, and they're getting caught up in school. Actually, we just had our first girl get her high school equivalency here.
Woohoo!
And she started. Her dream is to be an attorney, and she started law school yesterday.
Wow!
Yeah, she wants to be an attorney so she can help other girls like her. So
that is awesome.
that's it. So we have room for 6 more girls.
Now, are the girls kind of? You get your girls. It's not like somebody off the street can come and walk in.
No.
It's like there's a specific process.
If you know an underage girl who's pregnant on having her first child, and she is being abused, if she's in a toxic environment, then all you need to do is call us and get us the information. We'll get it to the Conapina Department of Child Welfare here, and they'll start an immediate investigation. So just give us a call.
Yeah, so it is, it's going through all the right channels, going through...
It has to be done correctly.
Yeah, Conapina is like the CFS of El Salvador, and they have to check and make sure, okay, this is a toxic environment, this girl is a victim, and she needs help.
And it's not just the teen and her baby. It's stopping her from having 10 more babies. So a 12-year-old who doesn't have support has a baby, and in 12 years that baby repeats the cycle. So she probably will have 10 kids, 8 kids, 10 kids, 12 kids with no support, just running from one pregnancy to the other, hoping one man will help her, and he leaves, and then hoping another man will help her. And so in 12 years, her first child is pregnant. And in 12 more years, their child is pregnant. I mean, generations pass so quickly here. There's great grandmothers in situations like this that are less than 40 years old. So,
wow.
And so
And it's gone on since the conquistadors.
Yeah, it's been going on forever
like
and
of
ever
like
and ever.
14. Yep. Well, grandma got pregnant at 14, and he
She
was
had 10
abusive.
kids, and you know, it's
And
very,
then
in El Salvador, under 18 years old, the girls can't give consent, so they're considered minors. So they need protection if they're being abused and they're in a toxic environment, because they're not only are they being damaged, but their babies are being damaged. And if they don't get help, the cycle of abuse is going to continue. They're going to have a baby. There's a good chance the family will not have the funds to care for the baby, and they'll send them to work in someone's home as a domestic servant, kind of a slave sort of a thing, where they get out 2 times a month. Within 2 years, they're usually pregnant again, and the cycle just continues, and it just goes and goes and goes.
And this is one of the major fuelers of sex trafficking and human trafficking.
Big time. A lot of the
El
girls will
Salvador.
drop their babies and head for the border. Or
Yeah.
they'll head for the borders with their babies, and the cartels will get them in Mexico and sell the baby and sell them. Babies are worth a lot of money now. Sold for pornography, sold for whatever purpose.
So and this in all of El Salvador, you guys are it, right?
Yeah, we're the only place that takes underage pregnant teenage girls. Yeah, we're aside from the government home, which is not really set up for it. So.
Now, are there girls currently waiting? And so this is really, Casa de Vida is about breaking the cycle. So sponsoring a girl and her baby here, it is about creating a whole new story and creating a whole new generational cycle for a family. Because here, I mean, the girls are taught self-defense,
They're
right?
taught self-defense. They're in cosmetology classes, which they love. In fact, they're getting so good. We're actually going to be doing a special thing 3 times in December where people can come and get their nails done, and they're good enough to get money for it. So the girls will earn a little money in order to buy some clothing and some stuff for themselves.
Oh, awesome. So they're finishing their education, they're getting life skills, something they can go out and charge money for out in the world.
They're getting chef licenses. So they go to chef classes.
Oh, they
every
go to
Wednesday.
chef classes?
Yeah, so
Awesome.
they're getting professional chef licenses. I keep smiling because I'm looking at one of the babies here.
Yeah.
The babies are so healthy. So what is my reward? What is my pay for doing this? Well, I don't get paid. What I see is I see babies that are healthy, that are connected with their mothers. I see babies that aren't damaged. I see teenage mothers that are
inquisitive.
Yes.
And crawling all over the place.
Yes.
Yes. And we'll look at your eyes. Yes. No, not when you're wearing something sparkly and you have a blinky light on your shirt.
Yeah.
There you are. Hi.
So to see a healthy baby, when I know what an unhealthy baby looks like, to see a teenage girl that now has hope, that's my pay.
Sponsoring a girl and her baby is number one, because there's girls all around waiting to come into Casa de Vida, but they need a sponsor.
Right.
And so, especially with this Giving Tuesday coming up, please think about giving life to a brand new Salvadoreño and her mom, giving her hope for the future, helping her break this cycle so it doesn't keep repeating. El Salvador is in major transformation. But to me, I see, stopping the violence is step 1, but then kind of curing and creating a new pattern.
Exactly.
It's like you have to create something new. You can't just stop one thing and just leave a big old vacuum. You have to create and teach new habits, new patterns. And that's what Casa de Vida can give more than any other place. Because it's one thing to say, well, just put them on birth control or something like that. But no, it's about teaching them, hey, there's more to life. You can have more of life. Your family can have a different situation than what you've known. And that's just massive.
All over the country, there's girls waiting. We just need the funding to be able to take in 6 more.
So we need sponsors.
We need sponsors. So how much does it cost to care for a pregnant teenage girl? When they come in, right away they need lots of psychological help. They usually have various different types of infections that need to be taken care of. They usually have parasites. They usually have low iron. They possibly have some other things. All these things lead to premature birth and problems with the baby too. And so trips to the hospital several times a week. Many times we have to buy 2 or 3 different kinds of antibiotics to get whatever infections they have taken care of. And then their food, I have staff here that watches out for them. It's about $500 a month for the mother and the baby, for them to be here in this place. Lights, water, medicines, trips to the doctors. And then, you know, once the babies are born, diapers and baby creams and everything else. All the babies are breastfed here, so we don't have to buy formula, which is awesome. Yeah.
And that's awesome that the girls actually get to learn how to take care of their babies, how to breastfeed, how to connect with their babies. And, but honestly, if you're thinking about it, it's $500 to save 2 Salvadoran lives.
Right. And so just think about it. I mean, if 20 people give $25 a month, it's a life. And it's not just the teen and her baby. It's stopping her from having 10 more babies.
The other big thing is mission trips. Not underage mission trips, but like couples and adult mission trips. If you'd like to come down and help the shelter out, come down and help these girls out and serve them. That is another big way that you can help Casa de Vida. How can they get a hold of you?
www.micasakids.org. And you can give on Venmo, you can give on Cash App, you can give on Zelle, you can give on PayPal, and you can give on our website.
Yep, that's all down below in the description. Okay. Actually going to get to meet one of the girls that has been here in the shelter for, I think, almost the longest.
Yeah, a year. She said this week it'll be a year.
Yep, and usually about a year is about the maximum usually amount of time, depending upon the case, that a girl can be here. Because the point is to help her heal and mend her family, not necessarily to take her out of society. That one of the oldest girls that came into Casa de Vida, she came in here about 2 months before she was about to have her baby. What were you feeling like before you found out about Casa de Vida?
Pues fue muy difícil, muchos pensamientos de intentar que mi hija no naciera, pérdidas. La verdad ha sido bastante difícil antes de saber de Casa de Vida.
Porque antes, ¿qué pensaba de su futuro?
Antes de llegar aquí pensaba que no iba a tener futuro, no iba a poder estudiar, no iba a poder tener un gran trabajo como quería, porque la verdad mis sueños siempre han sido trabajar y estudiar.
So how was it after you got here to Casa de Vida? Was it what you expected or was it something very different?
Sentí bastante diferente, la verdad. Para mí fue algo demasiado nuevo, venir a conocer la casa, súper diferente, saber de que había un lugar donde nos podían dar bastantes oportunidades. Y la verdad me cambió todo mi pensamiento, porque cuando me dijeron de que aquí me podían dar la universidad, conseguirme un trabajo, que aquí podía llegar hasta más de los 18, o sea, fue bastante diferente y con más pensamientos de querer a mi hija, querer tenerla y saber que aquí le puedo dar un mejor futuro.
¿Qué ha encontrado aquí? Como después de su parto, ¿y qué ha aprendido?
Pues aquí la verdad hay bastante ayuda, Aquí a todas nos ayudan, a todas nos tratan bien, a todas nos ayudan con los bebés, hemos encontrado bastante paz, bastante ayudas, bastantes ayudas hay aquí.
Sí.
Es un lugar muy bonito para todas las madres, adolescentes que llegan a ver y quieran su mejor futuro, aquí pueden hallar un buen futuro.
Y ahora que su bebé es tan feliz y bien avanzado por un bebé de 10 meses, y su tiempo en Casa de Vida, va a terminar eventualmente. Entonces, ¿qué es su plan ahora?
Pues ahorita, después que la tuve a ella, mi plan es estudiar, ir a la universidad y sacar mis 2 carreras.
Oh,
Y luego trabajar.
¿Cuáles son las carreras que quiere?
La primera es licenciatura en maestría y la segunda es, ¿cómo se llama? Veterinaria.
Oh, cool. Qué chivo, qué chivo. ¿Qué consejo daría a alguien que está pensando en apoyar Casa de Vida?
Pues que sí, muchas gracias porque la verdad aquí nos dan un gran futuro, nos ayudan bastante con los bebés y con la ayuda de las personas que nos quieran apoyar con algo, con alguna donación o con algo, pues sería agradecido porque harían falta varias cosas, más ahora que vienen bebés y van naciendo otros nuevos, faltarían ropa de bebés y cosas así, porque como ya los bebés van creciendo.
¿Qué esperanza tiene por su chiquitita? Por
Pues
su
a
futura.
a mí, ella es un gran futuro, la verdad, ella me cambió la vida. Yo por ella hoy tengo muchos pensamientos que antes no tenía. Y yo quisiera llegarla a ver a ella hasta la universidad.
Sí.
Sí, llegarla a ver a la universidad, todo su trabajo, todo, si Dios me lo permite, yo desearía llegarla a ver a triunfar.
Muchísimas gracias por compartir con nosotros. And this is the great, grand, amazing work that is happening in El Salvador. And honestly, I don't know any work that's more important than this work right now. I mean, yes, the bad guys, the kidnapping and the extortion and the killing from the bad guys, they're gone. But the next priority, the next way to save Salvadoreño lives is Casa de Vida. This is something that we have to do just because it's the right thing, not for any other reason. And through education and through breaking this cycle and through helping these girls and that what they can teach their girls and their babies, that's how we save Salvadoreño lives now. And through education and through awareness and taking care of each other and love. Please go down to the description and for Giving Tuesday, sponsor a young mom to have a new perspective of life, a completely new cycle, and hope for her future. You will save a mom and you will save an unborn baby. I am Jenny Adi, shining my light so you can shine yours.